Well, in this year 2025, there are 5 investments that I'm really monitoring them very, very closely. They are very good, and I can actually advise you, hey, let's all monitor these investments with you together step by step. Because, hey, listen, each and every time if you are so much interested into investing, it's always good to make sure that you put your ears and eyes open so that you can tap any opportunity that is out there. Got myself a phone here, and I have listed all those investments that I'm actually monitoring them very, very much closely. And if there is an investment that I'm monitoring them very, very closely, but before I tell them, well, what are these 5 investments? First of all, if you're watching me for the first time, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you go ahead and leave a comment on the comment section. Ask me a question relating to any investment, and I'm gonna go ahead and make a video out of that. If not replying to your comment section for the benefit of everyone, that's why I'm encouraging you, go ahead and ask those questions. See, there are these 5 investments that I'm monitoring them very closely because I'm seeing some things happening, and of course, as an investor, I don't want to be left behind, but at the same time, I want to take an action which is an informed one. That is very, very true. And if there is an investment that I'm actually monitoring right now, honestly, I won't lie. Okay, let me just write the title: 5 investments that I'm monitoring. Okay, if there is an investment that I'm really monitoring very closely, one is cryptocurrency. Yeah, I know it sounds like crazy. Hey, Joseph, you never talked about crypto. Now, come on. I have like 3 videos that I made on my channel about cryptocurrency. Why am I even monitoring this cryptocurrency thing? Well, I'm making this video on 22nd of 2025 on January. It's literally 2 days after Donald J. Trump has been sworn in as the 47th president of the United States of America. I know you're like, okay, what's the big deal? Fine, America is the superpower of the country, of the world. That's for sure. I mean, whenever the America coughs, everyone catches the cold. Economically, socially, politically, anything and everything. It's like our big brother, whom we actually look. Don't forget, their currency, which is the USD, it is the base currency. It's the currency that is actually used globally. Everyone, okay, uses it. Or should I say almost everyone uses it. Now, the point is, why am I monitoring the cryptocurrency? Well, it's not really an area whereby I have actually sort of like gotten into it fully or something of sort. And of course, you've been asking me about cryptocurrency, but why am I monitoring this? Well, during the campaigns, there were some clips going rounds and rounds, and hey, you know what? Trump, I think he bought a burger, if I'm not wrong, with a Bitcoin or something of sort. So it means that the guy was coming in on board as a president of the United States, and of course, cryptocurrency can actually do something great. And of course, we've seen it for the first time. The Bitcoin has crossed over 100,000, over 100K mark. As I'm making this video, the Bitcoin is around 103. Can you just imagine that? If I can go back like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, this Bitcoin was like 16K. Can you imagine that? 16K has gone all the way to 103,000. That's like, it's like close to like 10x. Now, why am I even monitoring this? There is another crypto on an altcoin called XRP that I'm actually monitoring. It's actually moved from 0.046. That's when I bought it. Well, I bought a little bit of it anyway. I'm just saying, I bought it at this amount of money, and right now it's talking about 3. I was making this video of January 2020, January 2025, no, date 22. It's around $3.16. You can just imagine coming all the way from 0.046 to 3.1. That's more than 100. That's like is it even 1,000? It's like close to 1,000, like a couple of 100 times in terms of the growth and something of sort. And it's still showing some signs of going up. Anyway, I'm not telling you go buy all these things, but what I'm telling you, I'm monitoring these investments. And of course, when the time is ripe, I will tell you, hey, go ahead and jump into the bandwagon and invest. But I'm going to give a very big but here. When it comes to cryptocurrency, well, my mentor, because I also have to follow people. I have to also to learn and listen to people who have been to this game for a longer period of time than I am, because there is always somebody ahead of you. They're telling me, yeah, sure, you can get yourself into the crypto, but please get into it with as little as 2 to 5% of your portfolio. 2 to 5% of your portfolio of investment. Don't exceed here. Why I asked, they said, hey, you know what? Still an area whereby It's wishy-washy. I will say it's still a speculation. Speculations are still there. We're still speculating. First and foremost, of the people don't even understand what is cryptocurrency. Probably you're gonna ask me that on the comment section because it's like a very wild area. Most of the people don't understand. Anyway, let me not spend million days here on this particular investment, but I'm monitoring the performance of that, bearing in mind that we have a new president in that great country called the United States of America. Now, the other areas that I'm actually monitoring very closely is the areas of stocks, okay, nationally, meaning where I come from, I'm a Kenyan, and of course, international stocks, okay? I'm monitoring that. Again, why am I even being inspired by that? I'm inspired by that by bearing in mind that we have a new president, or America have a new president. Of course, you'll be like, hate or love them. The fact remains they're the superpowers as we speak. Now, the point is, well, I'm monitoring that because, well, whatever happens on the economy is also being reflected by the stocks. And you may actually realize that if it's about stocks, you find that they are going up or they can go down. Either way, you can make some cash. There are people who make money when the stocks go down, especially the hedge funds, companies, and what have you, and da da da. So anyway, I'm monitoring the areas of the stocks nationally and internationally because, well, whenever we have a stable presidency, or when I say stable sort of leadership, and I'm not saying anybody is stable, are we together? But people tend to have this confidence in that particular economy, and people tend to actually invest more. And them investing more, of course, they create a demand. Once they create the demand, of course, you know the rules of the demand and supply, the price appreciates. And once the price appreciates, the stocks goes up. When the stocks goes up, if you bought them when they were actually low, then you can decide to resell them at a profit. And that is exactly how people make money. And listen, at every storm, whether you love or hate somebody, or whichever the situation it is, there are always people who make money in either. It's always, you only need to be smart to know, hey, this is a storm. How can I make this money out of this storm? Hey, this is that. How can I make money out of this kind of case scenario or something also? So anyway, these are areas I'm also monitoring on that. The third area that I'm also monitoring are the areas of ETFs, extended traded funds. These are sort of things provided or created, or they monitor the performance of an index. Well, I know that sounds like a bit of a Greek, but anyway, index fund is simply a combination, it's a basket of variety of companies put together, and now the performance of that given company is actually monitored by an ETF. So when you're buying something, you're actually buying an ETF that monitors an index of a certain companies put together. That Okay, that's the simplest I can give in terms of definition. So I'm also monitoring that. And of course, here we talk about the most popular ETF we have on earth is the S&P 500. That's an American one. We also have our own Kenyan versions, okay? NSE 20, NSE 25. We also have the one under the ABSA. We also have we have a variety of that in Kenya as well. So you can be able to also monitor that. Check out on your country, or in your country, what you have there. And ETFs happens to be a bit stable, safer, good, you know, in terms of investment compared to stocks, bearing in mind that you're actually buying shares of a variety of companies rather than one company. It's like having 10 companies together. Instead of buying one company shares, you're buying for all of them. So they monitor the performance of all this. And the company that is not performing good within this bracket is actually kicked out, and another one is being brought in. So they must remain competitive for them to remain in an ETF, or should I say in an index fund, okay? Now, anyway, I'm monitoring that area due to its simplistic nature, and not really simplistic, actually, they're very complex to understand. When I say simplistic, I mean in terms of the risks and what have you. I'm also monitoring that to see, hey, you know what, it's an area where we can be able to put our cash and do something. Perhaps if you're asking, hey, what, Joseph, are you having for us in the basket of this year 2025, and many more coming in, by God's grace, if it's by his will that I will be here and making these videos, I'm gonna try the best as I can. We learn from each other. I always love to say, just like an iron sharpens another iron, so do we learn from each other. And that's why I always encourage you, please leave a comment on the comment section, asking a question, doing a suggestion out there in something of sorts, so that we can be able to grow. And if you have a negative energy in any way, please, you can retain that to yourself, because right now we really don't have time for that. Are we together? And that area that I'm actually monitoring closely is the areas of something called the special funds. In Kenya, we are actually having a lot of special funds coming in, And you might be like, hey, what are special funds, Joseph? What are they? Give us an example of a special fund. Mansa X. Mansa X is a special fund. We also have another one under the FIDA Investment Fund, under the... And by the way, when I mention these companies, bring them on board. You call Rina Hicks, tell them to give me an advertisement for their funds. Call the management of the Standard Investment Banks to give me the advertisement of these things, my friend. You people, come on, I'm mentioning these people for free. These funds that they're having. Anyway, they are our people anyway, we love them. So we have like Mansa X under the Standard Investment Bank. You've been asking me, hey, Joseph, make a video about Mansa X. I did it. If you have not watched that video, it's like my third video from this, like backward, my third video, fourth video, something like that, okay? But I'm sure it's in between the bracket of 10 videos backward from this video, depending on when you're watching this video. So the point is, well, Mansa X, I made a video about that. The OC Fund, I'm yet to make a video. It's under the FIDA Investment Bank, okay? And by the way, if you ask me, I'm looking forward when Kenya will have a lot of, I will feel good when we see a country has more investment funds more than commercial banks. I won't explain that for now. It's a complex explanation, but I would love to see Kenya being there, because when we have investment funds, I mean investment banks, it would be so great. So anyway, the special funds, I'm actually monitoring them. We also have other companies that are bringing on their own, but they haven't popularized them. Apparently, the Standard Investment Bank and the FIDA Investment Banks, these are the most popular investment banks that we have in Kenya. We also have others, but they have not yet, gotten out of their cocoon so that they can be popularized, or they can popularize their services out there and what they offer. But we have a lot of funds that are coming in. And what are these special funds? Special funds are not really MMFs, they are not really ETFs, they are not FIF, meaning fixed investment funds. They are kind of funds whereby that is a special fund. It's actually invested in variety. You actually give your I don't know whether I'll put it this in a correct way. You give your investment manager to actually invest in variety of areas, of course, with all the risk assessed, and make sure that you maximize the returns. To maximize the returns and make sure that you also cautioned just in case something happens. Oh, it's a complex kind of a thing. It's an area that I'm seeing it coming up. For example, back then, the most primary investment was a SACCO. And I would say, hey, I think SACCO did their best. They did their best. People, benefited out of it. The SACCOs themselves also benefited. People invested, borrowed, and did that. But I would say we are coming in the phase whereby now SACCOs are being sort of phased out. Most of the people are preferring to invest their money in different areas. So I'm also looking forward, maybe probably one day it will come a time whereby the money market fund won't be the, would be the new kid in town, won't be the, the new darling. Maybe something else will come in, something else. So, with time, things keep on changing. So I'm saying the issues of special funds coming in, probably we'll have more government regulations for them to be limited, not to do, in the area of investment, we have an array of things that we can actually pick from. So it's an area that I'm actually monitoring very, very closely, and you can also be able to invest. Number 5, it's actually the areas called the commodities, another areas of investment that I'm actually monitoring. Well, by the way, I do have several meetings whereby I'm learning more about commodities, how to buy golds. People do ask me, hey, Joseph, I would like to invest on gold. When I say gold, I mean like physical gold. I buy the gold, I have it, say, in a vault, or I can have it in a company, I can have it in a bank, or I can have it anywhere, or I can have it in a company that does or something of sort. So it's an area that I'm sharpening my tools. It's an area that I'm actually develop interest on in this particular year, the areas of commodities. This is where we can talk about oil, gold, silver, whatever, and all those kind of wheat. Don't even know wheat actually trade. Corn is actually traded internationally, and something of sort. So yeah, sure, it's an area whereby I would definitely tell you that I'm developing interest on it, and I'm actually sharpening my tools. And you just stick around. Once I get all the substantive information, because I love opening this mouth of mine when I have substantive information, because I need to substantiate what I'm telling you. When I tell you press here and press here, you're good to go, and that is a good investment. So yeah, commodity is quite an it. Well, I would say in the developed world, the ultra wealthy people, even here in Kenya or in Africa, so to speak, there are people who already know where to invest, but these people, they keep this information. I wouldn't mention them all in Kenya. I went there where they have a section whereby they sell the jewelries and expensive things, and it's not a place that you can just walk in and start asking all those questions. First of all, if you don't show up with like sort of a goal, or like if you don't appear money, they tend to think like either you are there for Let me not get there. Anyway, the last one. And by the way, if you're here on watching this video and you're so good at this, tell us on the comment section. Probably I might actually partner with you in one way or the other, and we can be able to help people how they can be able to invest on this. The last area as a discount. I said 5, but I'm going to give you the last one as a discount. I'm checking on my phones, is the mutual funds. This one I won't mention anything. I've been talking about a million times. Mutual funds. So that is it, guys. Those are the 5 areas plus a discount, the areas that I'm actually monitoring in this particular year of 2025. So remain put. This is Good Joseph. As always, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment on the comment section. And don't forget, you can get my number. Let's talk business. I'll say goodbye and see you in the next one.